Well, hello, and hello to you. Welcome into another edition of Braylon Lee's virtual tour live. Glad to have all of you here. For those of you who watched part one and part two last night, thank you so much. We are here to review part three and part four of the Where is Wendy Williams documentary. Higher is waiting, low is available, but either way, we are live on tour. Let me take down this iconic intro here. You see the virtual tour background, you hear the virtual tour music, and then there is me. Hi, everybody. Welcome and glad to have you here. So, let's get to the getting, shall we, and do what we do. So, we pick up with episode three. I love being famous. That's the title of this episode. I love being famous. So, Wendy is bored. Wendy Williams is bored and she wants to be back on TV. But health is first. So we're in New York City, right? And Alex Finney, um, who is Wendy Williams' niece, flew in from Florida to check in on Wendy. She was in a car service with Eric Houston, her boyfriend. Um, and so Alex describes Wendy as a stallion, and it's been in all of her art, often imitated, never duplicated. That's how she refers to Wendy. Um, Alex says that Wendy is beautiful, smart, funny, and it's been a year since Alex has seen Wendy. Alex is a news anchor in Florida. So usually how Alex and Wendy greet each other is like, "How you doing?" Wendy says, "Better than you," and then they start talking. But before they start talking, Wendy would say, "There's some food in the fridge." So that's how Alex remembers her Wendy. So Alex is looking forward to a big hug from Wendy, wearing a fabulous robe, and really just wants to see her. So Wendy is moving, and she wants a one-story flat because she doesn't like the steps. Because Wendy has lymphedema, she can only feel 6% in each of her feet. Hey, Lynette Stiller, welcome and glad to have you here. So we are in the middle of part three. We're just getting started. Glad to have all of you here. So, like I said, Wendy wants to move because like I said, she doesn't like the stairs. She has lymphedema, and she can only feel a certain amount of her feet in her feet. So Wendy was trying to work the television. She was trying to work the TV, and so Alex is coming in, and Wendy doesn't say hi to Alex right away. So Alex is trying to talk to Wendy, but Wendy's really focused on getting this TV to work. And so Alex asks, when are you moving? And Wendy would say when she's moving, the specific date, but she whispers 3 weeks. So she whispers 3 weeks to Alex, and Wendy says, and I quote, "Hi, welcome and glad to have you here." Um, Wendy says that the money from that sale of the apartment will go to the Bank of America because Wendy cannot access her money through Wells Fargo. So, with that being said, Sean is Sean is sleeping, um, and Alex has not met Sean, right? So here's the thing. First of all, with all of that being said, I found it very odd behavior that Wendy is hyper focused on what she wants to focus on, but when it comes to what actually needs to matter, she seems a bit disconnected. Maybe that's just me because, like, when Alex came in, I was expecting at least some resemblance of how Alex said that Wendy would greet her, but to not have that, I know for people who watched it was hard for us to watch Wendy not greet her niece. Imagine how the niece felt being in person with her aunt, right? So, and like I said, for the fact that she has to sell her place in order to make money because she can't access her money, it seems like this guardianship thing has been a broken system for a very long time, just like the foster care system. And by the way, shout out to Queen Sheba. She had an interview with Michelle Loud last night. A excellent, excellent, excellent interview. with Michelle Lau-Quincy, but well done to you. Um, and I bring up that interview because I feel like there's something in the Kool-Aid that's not sweet with this story about Wendy Williams. And to me, I think that the fact that she has to rob Peter to pay Paul and she's this legend is just unnecessary. And at this point, I feel like it's not even about protecting Wendy for the Guardian and for that team. I feel like let me protect me. As long as I can keep Wendy on track, I will get what I want. To me, that's what it sounded like from the team to me. That's just my opinion. So Lord help. So Wendy says that, um, she has no money at Wells Fargo and that the Guardian, redacted name of the Guardian, stole her money. So, Alex meets Sean, and Alex says, I never met you before. And Sean says that they have met before. And so Alex asks, Sean, how do you know Wendy? When did y'all meet? How is this a thing? So Sean says that um, when Wendy's attorney reached out to Sean during her Wells Fargo situation, then they've been working together ever since. So Sean lives in Los Angeles, and she has also seen Wendy's new place. And so Sean asks where Alex lives, and Alex doesn't want to say. Um, and Wendy was about to tell something to Sean that Wendy and Alex talked about. But then Alex gets up and leaves, and says, I don't know who this person is. She thinking that she has a better relationship with my aunt than me, and it's just so jarring, and I don't want her in the room. And listen, I at first my feeling was okay. This is a very contentious experience, right? And you don't know who to trust, right? So that was my thing. Like, wait a minute now, wait a minute. Like, your aunt knows them, right? But then I had to think, like, wait a minute. There are some people that believe family is police, and so because Alex doesn't know Sean, there's an uncomfortability there. So at first I was a little, but then it clicked for me. I had to be still with myself, to myself, and of myself, and by myself to recognize, hey, lady, be welcome and beautiful. To recognize that, okay, I understand why Alex is feeling the way she's feeling. Because guess what? If I don't know you personally for more than 3 years or so, you still new to me. And to me, it just seems like Alex, Nisha, and Will don't have the comprehension. They don't have the capacity, capability to handle Wendy Williams. It just don't to me. So like I said, I did feel the way I felt because I'm like, wait a minute now, wait a minute. Like, this is your aunt's publicist. Like, if Wendy's cool with it, just be supportive because at this point, Wendy's going to be Wendy. But then again, it's like, I can't tell another person what they should do with their family member. That's Alex's family, right? So definitely understand Alex for sure. So with that being said, um, Sean wanted to speak to Alex, and Alex said no, thank you. Um, and so Alex doesn't want Sean to be in the middle of Alex and Wendy's relationship. And so, to me, I felt that she was just very protective over her on. And I know that some, hey, Diana Lily, welcome in. I know that some people felt like, Alex is, something's not right about Alex. And like I said before, there is there's a person, there's a CC that released some information about Melody Cherie and Mama Van that is unequivocally lies, deceit, and chaos. And we're upset that a black woman is defending another black woman, which is her aunt. So it's mind-boggling to me what we tend to focus on. And so now that I'm past the 10-minute mark, that cunt of a content creator posted information or uploaded information from another cunt who won't ever take responsibility for what she does, but she wants to play the victim and be a part of destruction, war, and just toxicity. And that over there is okay, but a black woman who is the niece of Wendy Williams trying to defend Wendy Williams, she seems suspect. Really, really. Okay, all right. Okay, I guess. I guess. So, with all that being said, Wendy then says Sean has become more than PR. She knows finance. Now, hi, Hawana Kamara. Welcome and glad to have you here. Now, here's the thing, right? Just because somebody knows finance doesn't mean that they should be your accountant. Sean is your publicist, and that's all she should be. Why is she becoming more than your publicist? That's what your accounting team is for. Where is the accounting team here? That was my thought when Wendy said that, right? So Alex said that random people are getting money from you. You're paying you're paying your friend, um, and it seems like desperate energy. And Alex, I feel like went into gangsta Alex mode of that you're bigger than this, you're stronger than this, you're smarter than this, you're better than this, and and that you need to love on the people who are not taking from you, who are not abusing you, who's not trying to profit from you. And Wendy said, "Relax, Alex. I understand." And honestly, when Wendy said that, I'm just like, I think there's a disconnect because sometimes when people say things to us, everybody receives messages differently. I feel like in that moment, Wendy knew what Alex was saying was the truth, but she didn't want to hear. So it was almost like saying, "Yes, ma'am, yes, sir," or saying, "No, no, ma'am, no, sir," just to shut up mom and dad so you can move on with your day. And that's why I felt like Wendy did. Because honestly, if I was in Alex's shoes, I would be saying the same thing. Um, and I think with Alex, because she has seen her aunt in a different light that we have, like we know Wendy through this parasocial relationship of radio and TV. Hey, Nikki News, welcome and glad to have you here. We know Wendy through radio and television and public appearances and her books, um, and the stories that she wants to tell, but we don't know her day to day. You know what I mean? So I feel that Alex is really protective, not over the persona of Wendy Williams, but the soul of who Wendy Williams is. And so that may come across to Wendy and to other people of, okay, you're doing the most. You're not, you're coming across this, that, and the third. But like I said, I'm glad that somebody in her family's standing up, and that's what the younger family members are supposed to do. We talk about generational wealth, right? You do realize generational wealth is not just financial; it's emotional. Emotional wealth can be a thing too. Spiritual wealth can be a thing too. Mental wealth can be a thing too. Like, do y'all not get the spectrum? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So, with that being said, Alex has said her piece, and they love each other. And Wendy is done for the day. So, so the producer asked Alex, how did you feel about Wendy speaking to the TV? And Alex says that that's not how Wendy normally greets Alex. And so, Alex says that like I said before, that hey, Wendy's usually in a robe. She says there's food in the fridge. And then the producer asks Alex if she wants to open up the fridge. And Alex says no. And the producer says there's no food in the fridge. And Alex has a real moment um, with herself, over herself, and by herself. And her boyfriend, Eric Houston, comes through and collects her um, out of the living room. And I can only imagine what it is to first of all, you live in your own life, right? And you're trying to be responsible for all that you can be responsible for while being a place to fall. And then to know that the person that you're trying to protect, defend, and love on doesn't have the resources for them to be their best. Because when the producer said that there was no food in the fridge, I felt Alex's pain. Like, I know she wanted to say, "What the fuck do you mean that there's no food in my aunt's fridge?" And I don't know if Alex went, to a New York City grocery store and got food that day, but I feel like that's the type of person Alex is. Like, she'd be like, "Okay, listen, I'm gonna go get some food. I'm gonna stock the fridge and do what needs to be done." Oh Lord. So Alex concerns are the people who are around Wendy, and Alex tried to talk to the Guardian, and the communication was friendly at one point in time, but then it turned to not friendly. So we get to Will and Keisha, right? March of 2023. March of 2023. Wendy flew out to Los Angeles with Sean undercover in the middle of the night. Look, hashtag dark, okay? Hashtag dark. So there was a meeting for 4 p.m. scheduled already with Will and someone else. Will, Wendy, and someone else, right? Rather. So Wendy said that she was going to spend 3 weeks in LA. Sean came to get Wendy and took care of the flights because Wendy doesn't have her credit card. And so, Will said, "You need to get your fucking back here." And I'm just like, "Okay, Will, I know that you're the manager, bruh, but there's a way to speak to everybody, bruh." And that wasn't cool. It wasn't. It wasn't all. And not to mention, you a jeweler. Like, Lord Jesus. Just because you see Ghost State Patrick in power be a drug dealer doesn't mean you can wake up and do what he did. That was acting, bruh. You acting as a manager. You're not an actual manager. Trying to be tough and shit. You know there's no toughness in you. What the hell is wrong with you? Damn. This team gets on my last nerves. So, like I said, Will said, maybe you should bring your ass back. So then Wendy says, "Well, maybe I'll stay in LA for 2 weeks." And that, Wendy said that I had plenty of stuff to do. And so, Keisha says that, Wendy's wild, and Will says that she's selfish and immature. This is coming from the person that said is the shot looking like money before he spoke on camera to represent his client. Really? Really, Will? Okay. All right. Okay. So Sean said that Wendy said that Will did bring her things to Wendy, and Wendy was like, "Come now, come now, come now, come now, come now, come now," belligerent. And oh Lord. And Wendy was not saying anything because she was petrified. And Will said that, Will said to Sean that you need to bring her back to New York, and Wendy was Wendy was petrified, and so so apparently the Guardian picked up on the tea that Wendy child Nikki News. That part, I'm just like, for you to be petrified of your manager, you don't need him. If you gotta be petrified of who's around you, with people like that, who needs strangers? With friends like that, who needs enemies? Damn. Lord Jesus, with a Unky Pookie Ray Ray chicken shack, who needs bootleg chicken? Like, do y'all get the analogy that I'm saying? Like Will said, bring her ass back. Screamed it. And Wendy was petrified. So Will is not texting the Guardian about the LA thing because Will doesn't want to lose trust with the Guardian. Sir, at this point, and I'm going to say it, fuck that white cracker cunt. Fuck the Guardian. You, the manager. Without her, Wendy, to manage, she can't be a Guardian. What the fuck is wrong with you? Damn. Jesus Christ, Will. I mean, you are just as stupid as original straight no chaser. You are just doing anything just to have a job when you wasn't fucking qualified for it. Nobody asked you to be a manager. Nobody chose you, and you weren't born to be anything of importance, just like original straight no chaser. Damn. Original straight no chaser is a bitch, and Will is a Mitch. I said it. Now let's roll the fuck. I can't do it. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. You mean to tell me that people of intelligence, of integrity, and tact are trying to get in the door of entertainment? And we got ignorance, hatefulness, and just brokenness in mentality, like Will and original straight no chaser get opportunities. What the fuck? That just had to be said. I'm sorry. Like, seriously, like, Will isn't concerned about Wendy Williams' health. He said, I'm not really that concerned. She's just off sometime. What the fuck? Really? Okay. Oh no, I'm done. Listen. I'm good. Because see, I'm going somewhere with this. Because guess what? Just because you're a woman don't mean you get to do shit. Just because you're a man don't mean you get to do shit. If a man put out some medical information, which is HIPAA law, or put out somebody's private information about anything in their life, this, that, the third, all around the world, if I did that shit, I should be called to the carpet. You don't get to do what the fuck you want to do just because you can. And that's sickening to me. It is sickening to me that people like that person has 7,000 subscribers, and a person like Will can manage a legend. But people like me and other good people, just because we ain't big enough, we don't do the most, we're not meeting the qualifications of destroying the culture, we can't get the opportunity. What the hell? Let's roll on. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Glad to have all y'all here. I had to get that out. I'm just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Because this was a man who did this. Oh, God forbid a black man put out a black woman's mental health would be manipulative of controlling how they would think and move. Oh, wait a minute. That was Kate Gate, you fucks. Let's roll. I've been cool for a very long time. A very long time. Let's roll. So with that being said, 2 days after Wendy's surprise trip to LA, producers arranged to film with her. Sean is helping Wendy with something. Wendy asked, Sean to close the door. So there's a meeting with NBC Universal that Wendy's going to have between 1 and 3 p.m., Sean says. So Wendy is in this Escalade. I think it's an Escalade. Either way, she's in a car service. And so Wendy says it can't be in Miami. It has to be in New York. But she's in Hollywood, California. So a producer asked, why did the Wendy show end? And she said she did 14 years, and she wanted to spend time with her family. She had enough money to do what she wanted to do. And so the Hollywood Reporter cover story is talked about. And in that cover story, which we did read here on Virtual Tour Live, and towards the end, I'll read the cover story for y'all. It's a bit lengthy, but it gives great context to this documentary. It talked about some of the struggles of not knowing where Wendy was, the internal battle between Deborah and Mercury, and just the feelings of the culture of what should happen here. We have a production company, but yet our talent is our bread and butter, and without that, it was so much, and rumors and gossip and theories and all that type of stuff. So that was the Hollywood Reporter cover story. And so then Wendy says Universal would immediately say yes. And Travis, Wendy's nephew, says that no, she's not ready to work. So Alex Finney, the niece, says the LA trip seems bootlegged. And Will said that Wendy lacked entertainment. And so that's why she wants to go back to TV. So she's lacking entertainment. And her health ain't together. So the best thing to do is get her back on daytime TV. Are you serious? I can't do it. Are you? What? So because Wendy doesn't have any friends in New York, because her health isn't together to receive entertainment, and because y'all can't figure things out, y'all thinking that her comfort zone should be her coping mechanism. When when an event took her out of that comfort zone, and so now you got somebody who doesn't have their mama because Shirley's gone. You got somebody who doesn't have their son. Wendy's son is in Florida. Her family's in Florida. All the rumors, gossip, and innuendo about her, and not to mention she is tied up through a guardian and can't be a grown 52-year-old woman. You got all those factors, and y'all think that the best coping mechanism to deal with these things is to put her on in front of a camera for an hour so she can forget her problems for an hour? It's just like sex. It's just like drugs. It's just like travel. It's just like shopping. Once you done with, your problems are still there. What the hell are we doing here? It was the fact that Will said that Wendy lacked entertainment. So Sean says, the publicist says that she's been working with Wendy for over a year. Wendy said that she met Sean in New York a few hours ago, which that was a little bit of a brain fog moment. And Wendy's first impression of Sean was, what the fuck does she have to do with shit? But as Wendy got to know Sean, she trusts Sean more than Will. And Will never screamed until recently. And Wendy wants a new manager. So she wants to try a new direction with Universal and a new manager. And so producer asks, Sean, do you want to be a manager? Or do you want to be Wendy's manager, rather? And so she says, I'm already doing managerial things. Once again, just because you're doing responsibilities of a manager doesn't mean that you are deemed worthy enough to be it. What? That would be like Just because I have glasses means I should be it means I should be an eye doctor. Are you serious? Are you That's like saying just because I drink tequila means I should be a tequila maker. What? Are you serious? Are you serious? Like, is this really what we're doing? Is this really what we're doing? Just because I love listening to music means I should be a headphone designer. What the? Okay, let's keep rolling, y'all, because this is just part three. Okay, so they talk about the Hollywood Walk of Fame, ceremony, where the stars get their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So the ceremony was around the corner, was packed. So Regina, who is Wendy's friend of 43 years, is in California. Family and son are in Florida, and Wendy, she loves being famous. And so as she, went to the star, there were some people that took pictures with her, and that those people were pulling for her. And someone said that we miss you, Wendy, and that we're coming back. And Wendy said that she's got me with Universal. And so then Wendy went to lunch at this high end place, and the meeting with NBC Universal was at 3 p.m. So at this place, right? At this place, and it's a very nice place. I'm not gonna sit here in front now. Listen, I actually like food. Okay, so listen, I'm not saying that I want to eat at that place. It seems like a lovely place, and the dishes are probably nice. But I listen. I am so cool with going to Rallies, getting some Rallies fries and two big Bufords and a large Coke. I mean Coca-Cola, y'all. Okay, listen. But I'm just that regular schmegular. But I also understand that, the higher you go in your purpose, the more things you have to do that you don't want to do. So I understand that, based on the level you're at is what you have to do, right, for your lifestyle. But with all that being said, Wendy is drinking at this restaurant, and she's drinking Grey Goose vodka. So Wendy is glad that NBC Universal is going to be seeing her feet, because like I said, she has lymphedema, right? So Will is calling in to check on Wendy, and this call just seemed kind of out the blue, because it's just like you were just screaming at Wendy, at Sean, to bring her ass back. That's what you said, Will. So you went from screaming at Wendy and Sean to this calm demeanor of, "Hey, how's it going? Your day going good today? I just want to check in on what you're eating." You mean to tell me you took less than a minute, maybe two, being generous, to ask about what someone is eating? I'm just asking questions. Like, Will, your vibe is not good to me, bro. Your vibe is not good to me. Your vibe is not good to me. And other family members have said that you're not it, bro. You're not it. So Wendy hung up the phone on Will, and Will said that the next call is to the Guardian because Will knows that she was drinking. And so then, Lord help. So then Sean is having another one-on-one interview with a producer, and the producer asked, "Do you feel like Wendy, has a drinking problem?" And Sean says that Wendy knows her limits and she's never seen Wendy drunk. Miss, were you not in New York City with Wendy Williams as you were getting her blue e-cigarettes, and she ordered champagne with you all in the vehicle? Like, really? I mean, good Lord, Sean, were you not at the dinner with Will and Wendy when she asked for white wine? Were you not there? Did you watch the documentary, Sean? Because there was a whole Kettle One vodka bottle, and Wendy said, "Keep it there, keep it there, keep it there." And you said she doesn't have a drinking game, and you are a publicist hired to publicize information. Did I not tell y'all this scene got on my last nerves? Did I not tell y'all that? So, Sean also felt Wendy sleeping in Louis Vuitton is wasn't a big deal. Nikki News, I know, and listen, I'm trying to give this thing soul. I really am, but also too, I have to call things out. I have to call things out that's just not right. Okay, I have to. I have to. So Sean is denying the public's fear of Wendy and the state she's in. And so Sean says, well, you know, when you actually go on social media, you see people wishing Wendy well. And the producer was too damn smart because I would have said the same. I would have said the same thing. So that's the spin you're giving it. And Sean was like, no, yeah, that's a Jesus be offense all around me every day. Really? Why are you here, Sean? Why are you here, Niche? Why are you here? Well, can anybody explain to me why these three people were birthed into the world to be of anything of importance to anybody? Can somebody explain to me? Because I don't get it. I don't get it. Not here, not there, not anywhere brainly I am. I just don't get it. I don't. Child. So the producer says that today she called this place Hollywood, Miami. And Sean said that she believes when he forgets sometimes. Then the producer asked Sean, have you spoken to her medical team? And Sean says she's never spoken to her medical team. Sean, sweetie, honey, Peaches, I'm going to ask you something, right? Because you're a publicist, okay? You're a publicist. Now, I'm doing the thing that, women do with their, when they pat their head, but I'm patting my head because I'm about to ask a very common sense question that's probably going to piss off the chat, but it needs to be said. How can you publicize about her health condition if you don't know her health condition? I'm going to let that sit for a minute. Because you are a publicist, correct? How can you publicize updates about Wendy if you don't know what the update is on Wendy? And you a publicist. One more question, Sean, because you said that Wendy's attorney reached out to you when Wendy was going through her Wells Fargo thing. How could you publicize about Wells Fargo if you didn't know what was going on with Wells Fargo? Let's roll on. Let's roll. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Glad to have y'all here. Now, listen, I don't know how many subscribers I'm going to have after this, but y'all, you saw the thumbnail. You know my voice, and damn it, you know why you here. I don't got time for games. I don't have time for stupid prizes. Play stupid games, stupid prizes, stupid logic. I don't have time for it. The severity, the gravity, and the reality of this documentary is too real for me to be basic with this review. Okay? So, let's roll on. I appreciate the people that are here still rocking with me. And you know what? Let me just say this to content creators that are starting, just understand, recognize, and embrace the fact. Sorry, understand, recognize, and embrace the fact. If people are leaving as you are showcasing yourself to care, sometimes people need a break mentally. Other times, people they just that's too much. But keep going anyway, because the people that understand your soul will be here to embrace your soul. Understand? I just wanted to say that because I know if I lose some subscribers, at this point it's just a moment. Don't 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 let the masterpiece of how somebody thinks of you dictate who you are. Don't worry about the temporary visitors to your art gallery. Worry about the permanent members of your art gallery. Understand? Let's roll on. I just wanted to say that um, for the people in the back, for the people in the front, the people just trying to be in the middle of the bus and get to their next destination. So let's roll on. So, with that being said, um, Kevin Jr. feels, well, before that, Wendy asks, "What time is it?" and begins to cry because she's thinking about the appointment that she has, the meeting that she has with NBC Universal. Kevin Jr. feels that his mom has worked enough and health needs to be her number one priority. And Travis says that she needs recovery. Wendy says that she wants to be on forever. And then Sean asks, hey, Coach James Hodge, welcome and thank you, Lady B. I appreciate you as always. Then Sean asks, Wendy, do you want to go to the Oscars? And then this broke my heart because her being the queen of all media, her being a pop culture encyclopedia, this, that, the third, all around the world, for Wendy to ask what's the Oscars broke my heart. I'm just like, you did Oscar recaps on the Wendy Williams show. And Sean asked Wendy, does she want to go to the Oscars? And Wendy said, I want to go in this outfit. And Sean said, no, you won't be able to go in that outfit. You got to go into it. You got to be in the gown and all that stuff. Now, Sean, pat my head again. Okay, because I'm going to ask another common sense question. Sean, you should know by now that invitations are sent out for the Oscars months in advance. So why in the hell are you asking Wendy if she wants to go to the Oscars this weekend? You are a publicist, right? That publicizes information. I don't get this team. You're asking Wendy Williams if she wants to go to the Oscars this weekend, like it's like she's going to the comedy, store to see a comedian. Oh, you want to go to the Oscars, girl? Oh, we just gotta go get tickets. What? Are you kidding me? In order to go to the Oscars, the Grammys, the Tonys, the Emmys, People's Choice Awards, Kids' Choice Awards, whatever big event that has celebrities in it, you have to request a media pass months in advance. There is a deadline. Sean, I'm assuming you've worked in media for some time, right? And as a publicist, you have publicized about different celebrities or different organizations that go to different events, and you publicize that, guess what? This person or that person or this group or that group, this organization or that organization will go to this event because they got a media pass, because you requested it. I'm trying to maintain my cool. I'm trying. But at this point, what needs to be said, what needs to be said rather, is what needs to be said at this point. Because I can only imagine the dailies that Lifetime got of the documentary when it was in production. Somebody on the creative team had to say, I know you can't be this fucking stupid. This is what y'all captured? This is what y'all filmed? This is what y'all put together for us to approve or disapprove to be on our network? This is what you have to deliver us? Child, Jesus, we have it's all around me every day. Okay. So then Alex, the niece, says the Wendy we have known for years in the past versus the year that we've seen the Wendy is not the same Wendy that we know. So Sean doesn't really. So a question is asked, right, about the NBC Universal meeting of what changes do you believe that have changed about Wendy? And Sean said, well, I don't really know what's changed about Wendy, and we'll handle that in the meeting. You're going into a meeting with NBC Universal that owns E. That if Wendy was well enough, Wendy could do Fashion Police on E. You're talking about MSNBC, their cable network, where guess what? She could do documentaries and things like that because of Wendy Williams Productions. You're talking about NBC Universal TV syndication, which is all the talk shows and stuff. You're talking about Illumination, where she could do animated movies. You're talking about Focus Features. You're talking about Bravo. You're talking about NBC Peacock. Sean, do you not know the circumstances you're going into? You're going to NBC Universal with all those different outlets, and the subsidiaries are all those different outlets. Oh, and let me not forget Universal Parks. Oh my God. You know the Today Show has a cafe at Universal Orlando Resort? There could be a whole Wendy Williams Say It Like You Mean It cafe at Universal Studios Hollywood City Walk. But you don't know what's changed about Wendy. You're going into meeting with executives that can decide if she comes back or not, and you don't know what's going on with your own person, your own client that you're publicizing about because you're her publicist. Okay. So, of course, we don't see the meeting because it's a private meeting. NBC Universal said, Sean and Wendy said that the NBC Universal meeting went really well. It was all women at the meeting. And, the producer asked, why was it so important to show off your feet, Wendy? And Wendy said it was comical in a way. And so NBC Universal wants to see Wendy back on TV. So Wendy says, and so there was a title card that said no offer was materialized and NBC declined to speak on the meeting. Now, of course, the reason why NBC declined to speak on the meeting is because most of the time those meetings usually are very confidential. Sometimes they have an NDA, but most of the time, most production deals and stuff like that, you won't hear about until it's time. So when we hear some news that is happening in Hollywood, in the media entertainment industry, usually it has been talked about to many people before it gets to us. Just know that. 6 people in the building. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Glad to have all of you here. So now we're back in New York City. Will says no cameras right now. This is the first time that Will has seen Wendy and Sean since Los Angeles. Will says it was a slightly heated conversation, but they ironed some things out. Sean says to Will that she's not trying to replace Will. She's just concerned, just as concerned about Wendy as Will is. And Will says that Sean is acting like she did nothing wrong. And then Wendy says that she loves Will and misses Will. And so the Guardian had the same reaction as Will of not knowing who Sean is and being very worried about someone else handling Wendy. And y'all are better. So, Will says it was a horrible decision about the meeting for NBC Universal. After Wendy came back from LA to New York, from Los Angeles, California to New York City, New York, Wendy looked disheveled. She was adamant about drinking. She thinks she has a show in LA. That's according to Will. Will says it's stressful that you want to help somebody, but you don't know how. Alex said that Wendy will be better off with family than in New York. Kevin Jr. said Kevin Jr. should be the guardian, and the guardian is keeping Wendy away from Travis and Kevin. That's what Travis said, the nephew of Wendy Williams. So Kevin Jr. feels the guardian has not done a good job, and Kevin Jr. also says Will is a drooler and is trying to do the best he can. Kevin Jr. is afraid that his mom could die. And then there's the scene with Wendy says, and away we go. In the preview, she is with her dad, Thomas Williams Sr., and says to her dad, Wednesday I'll be back on TV. But her dad said today is Wednesday. And Wendy says, well, guess what? It's not working. Alex, the niece, says this is not normal. It's heartbreaking. And then Kevin Jr., Wendy, and Travis meet for lunch. And then Wendy's sister, says the guardianship is broken. Y'all, that is part 3 of a 4-part series, 2-parter of Where is Wendy Williams, the documentary on Lifetime. So episodes 3 and 4 aired this past Sunday at 8/7 Central only on Lifetime. Episode 3 was entitled called I Love Being Famous. Whew. A lot to talk about, right? A lot to talk about. Okay. So, is everybody ready for part 3? No, I'm sorry, not everybody's ready for part 3. Is everybody ready for part 4? Sorry, no. Sorry, y'all. Just trying to get my charger here. We are live on tour. So is everybody ready for part 4? Because man. I mean, honestly, I know that was a lot, and I know I said what I said, but it needed to be said because I feel like out of all the parts that I've seen, episode 3 was the most triggering for me. It was the most triggering for me in terms of the mismanagement, mishandling, and just the misguided and the misguidedness of part 3. So Nikki New says we're for part 4. Well, away we go. Away we go, and away we go. Episode 4 is titled I Am Gorgeous. We are in New York City, and Will comes in with Angela White. For those of you who don't know, that is Black China. So Angela White flies in just to see Wendy. And so, Angela White says the first time that Angela and Wendy connected on the couch, they instantly connected. So after the show, they went to go get food, talked, had a good time. They instantly formed a energy with each other, right? So when Wendy is in LA, Wendy comes over to Angela White's house. She sees the baby. They did Pride together. They did LA Pride together. And so Wendy says that she wears 2 real makeups. And so I'm going to try not to get emotional through this. It's too late. # too late. But Wendy pulls off her wig. And it's just her hair. Not pulled out, not curled, not stretched, but it's just her hair. And Angela holds up her Angela holds up Wendy's head like this. Y'all, that moment I cried, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I know for Wendy, she's always wanted to be a mother, and she had two miscarriages. When Kelvin had his outside baby, with Sharina Hudson, the baby was a baby girl, and I felt in that moment. And if you don't know the exercise, it's basically where you as a person and another person who symbolizes something that you want to talk about, you speak to that person as if that person was there, if that issue was there. It's like a reflection exercise. I felt in that moment when Angela White held up Wendy's head and did this and it's like rubbing her face. I felt like that was Wendy spending time with the daughter that she wished she had. And it hit me of, even though Wendy is removed, she's not so removed of what matters to her. I saw her light, I saw her heart, and I saw her soul being happy for a minute in that moment. I did. So Angela has concerns about Wendy. And so Angela cut off all of her hair because Wendy was like, "Is that your real hair?" And so, Angela said that Wendy um, has always put Angela in her place in a motherly kind way. And so Angela said that Wendy could call Angela at any time, and Angela's gonna be flying back and forth just to see her more. And Wendy said, "My real name is Wendy Hunter, and I got divorced. He got no money." And Angela White and Wendy says, "I love you" to each other. And Angela is in Wendy's lap, and Angela says, "Everything's going to be great." And Wendy says, "I know." Heavy, heavy, and heavy. Um, I say heavy because you know how sometimes that spidey sense where there's like a soul sense, and I felt in that soul sense. It really is. I remember what Kathy Lee Gifford said about Regis Philbin, that she had one last conversation and they were having a good time, and then that was the last time I saw him. And that moment reminded me of this. That it was just like it was that moment of, "I love you, I need you here, and I don't know what I'm going to do without you," in so many words with that exchange. Because for those of you who may not know, laying down in your mother's lap, like Angela did, and the caressing of the hair, not everybody gets that energy, and not everybody deserves that energy. But I really felt that was a that was a Wendy Williams. That was a version of Wendy Williams embracing the life that she really wants. And I think she just wants, how can I put this in the words of a song? I'm Supergirl and I'm here to save the world, but I want to know who's going to save me. I feel like that was what she was trying to say in that moment of that, I'm Supergirl. I want to know Wait, I'm Supergirl. I'm here to save the world, but I want to know who's going to save me. I feel like in that moment, Angela was just trying to let her know, I'm here to save you, but you also have to take down me, Supergirl. Let's roll on, y'all. This is part four, and then I'm going to drop the link because I know y'all got a lot to say and I got a lot to hear. So Wendy, is flying to Miami to see her family. The title card said that she has seen her family in 8 months, but for Wendy, it's been a year. So Wendy brings up the story about how Thomas and Shirley love summer, and Thomas and Shirley are Wendy's parents, by the way. That Thomas and Shirley love summer and hate winter. And Wendy bought them an apartment at 27 years old. Kevin hates that his mom loves liquor, and Kevin is really important to Wendy. So Nisha is talking to Will, and so there's a car service coming at from 2:30 p.m. to 2:45. When Nisha got there, Wendy was throwing up, and Hank Awasea is Wendy's security detail. And so as Hank was getting Wendy up, I could tell that Wendy really was not Wendy because she needed assistance. Wendy. If you watch the Wendy Williams show, it's a very high energy show. She had to get up and go, and to not see that get up and go in her own dwelling, in her own sanctum, in her own home was sad to me. Um, and so you know Kevin Jr. wants to come in and be a solution and wants to be a part for healing. And Travis, the nephew, wants Wendy in Florida. So now we're in Miami, Florida. So Will was nervous about this day for Wendy to see her family. Wendy wanted alcohol on the plane, but Will said, just make it apple juice. Tell her it's apple flavored scotch. Which, well, I get what you were trying to do, but bruh, if well, actually, you don't know that she's an alcoholic because you, Nisha, and Sean are so deaf, dumb, and blind to it. You can't see the forest from the trees because you're so deep in the forest that you don't want to look around to see if there's a way out because you don't care if there's a way out. Just as long as you're in the forest, just you're so deep in the forest because you want the experience of what it is to be in the forest, but you don't want to get out the forest to see what else is out there. Because I felt like in that moment that was setting Wendy up to fail. You said to the flight attendant, just pour apple juice. Or just pour apple juice, right? But then you tell the flight attendant to tell Wendy it's apple scotch. That's manipulation, bro. It is. So Will and Wendy and her team get to the hotel, and Will checks out the hotel room for alcohol. And Will wants Wendy to live for her son Kevin Jr. And so Will says, like, they already checked it for me. And so he makes a call to the front desk and said, no alcoholic drinks to this room. I don't care if it's the president. No drinks to come to this room. I'm like, Will, once again, sir, you're acting again. You're acting as a manager, sir. Because Joe Biden is not calling that room and saying Wendy Williams needs drinks, sir. So what? So why you say that? Like, really? Like, they get it, bro. They get it. Jesus Christ. So then Wendy and her team goes to Billy Stone Crab Restaurant, and so Wendy rather would not rather talk about what happened the last time that they were in Florida. Will said that when Kevin Jr. and Travis come, that Will would leave for a family moment. I'm like, Will, you don't leave for a family moment. You stay away. That's their bonding time. Like for a family moment, like what? We're Photo shoot and out. What is this, Will? Like, really? Come on, man. So Kevin Jr. said he learned more about his mom when he took his mom to all her appointments, and that Kevin Jr. said that was about that Wendy had alcohol-induced dementia. But when Wendy was in Florida, she gained about 20 to 30 pounds, and the move to Florida was at first the show and the family making being a team, right? But then the extension was on behest of her family, and then that's when the fighting started with the Wendy Williams show and Deborah Mercury and the family. So Wendy went back to court in New York in April of 2022. Then the next month, in May of 2022, an independent legal guardian was appointed over Wendy's finances and health. And so the family was removed from Wendy's care. Producers of the Wendy Williams show declined to comment. So it's been about 40 minutes that, Kevin Jr. and Travis did not arrive. And Will said, young people don't have no sense of time. Will, you're not young enough to speak for young people, so why are you speaking? Like, I know you're not speaking of what young people can do, but you can't be a manager and execute being a manager, sir. I'm gonna need you to stop. I'm gonna need you to stop. I'm gonna need you to stop. So Kevin Jr. was at school, and that's why he was late. So Wendy's talking about the podcast. Kevin is comfortable with the podcast after Wendy asked the question to Kevin about it. Wendy said that they do the podcast often and it creates money for her and Will. Well, wait a minute, Will is your manager, and yes, he gets a percentage of what you do, but that money should be for you, not for you and Will. The hell. And so Kevin Jr. said that when he saw his mom Wendy, that Wendy looked confused and was skinny. And so then Wendy is talking about the TV show and wants to give away things to the audience and will take off her wig and paint things. So Travis is concerned. Travis, the nephew, is concerned about the people around her. And so Wendy is saying it's a good day. It's a good day. So Wendy's getting emotional about seeing her son and her nephew, which, like I said, it tells me she's removed, but she's not so far removed where her emotionality's not there. So we're still in Florida. So Wendy is vaping in her hotel room. So Alex is coming to visit. So Wendy is still about her talk show coming back on TV. So Wendy says September that she is coming back on TV. And she says, Mort and Ira, I've worked with them before. And so Mort, Marcus, and Ira Bernstein are the founders of Deborah Mercury. And so Wendy says that she wants Wendy Hunter in the title of her show. And I'm just like, Wendy Hunter doesn't roll off the tongue. Wendy Williams does. Like, that is your whole brand. Like, if you're going to come back with your name. So Alex, the niece, said that she knew of Wendy's diagnosis of alcohol-induced dementia of April of 2022 through family. And so Alex was talking to Wendy about her health, of that you do realize that Mort and Ira want you hit different checkpoints before you come back. And Alex said that Mort and Ira want you to win more than anybody. And Alex said it's a continuous journey with your health. It's not just something that you just pick up one day, do a little bit, and then you put it back on the shelf. And Alex is really trying to hammer into Wendy that if you're going to do this journey, you can't be weak in this journey in so many words. And so Alex said, listen, you can be fake with everybody else, but don't be fake with the people who love you. And so Wendy is like, can you turn up the TV? So Wendy is trying to avoid what Alex is saying. So Alex stands up to block the TV. And she's standing there. And Alex is getting so emotional because she is seeing the Wendy she knew fade away from her. To me, in my opinion, allegedly in my opinion for entertainment purposes only, that she saw the Wendy that she knew fading away from her as she was standing up in front of the TV. It's interesting to me. The thing that Wendy is not on is the thing that Wendy wants the most. And when Alex stands up in front of the TV, watch the symbolism here. Because you're blocking what Wendy wants, she gets upset at people that block what Wendy wants. And I'm just like, wow, talk about symbolism and metaphors personified in front of your face on TV. So Alex is getting upset about Wendy not taking in the love of her family. And so Tommy Williams Sr. says, that's the dad of Wendy Williams, says early fall is the last time that he saw her, right? So Alex, Wendy, and Tommy Williams Jr. Are sitting down in her parents' apartment, and Tommy and Shirley collected everything of Wendy's career, and Tommy Williams Sr. wants more time with Wendy, and Italy was Shirley's favorite place. At first, Wendy said, "I think Tokyo, Japan," or no, I think it was Alex that said, "Was it Shirley's favorite place, Tokyo, Japan?" And Tommy Williams Sr. said, "No, it was Italy." And so, Wendy says that she misses her mom, and so Tommy Williams Sr. says, yeah, he misses her too. It's a one-way conversation, but she's here. She's here, and I felt for Tommy Williams because you don't see marriages last like that anymore. It's still an accomplishment, but for him to not have his partner in the world, and for him to have his own life trying to hold on as his daughter is not his daughter, it's just one thing after the other, man. So Alex said three things didn't help: Wendy's divorce, the pandemic, and losing her mom. And so, Wendy's still talking about the talk show, things like that. That masks are discussed, about masks are discussed on the show. So everybody wearing a mask and all that stuff. And so that Wendy would take off her wig and all that stuff. So she's really excited about this talk show that's not happening. And so Tommy Williams Sr. said, "Have the patience of a cobra, and patience is a virtue." So Alex wants her Aunt Wendy to be happy, healthy, and she wants her aunt to be here. So then we go to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Tommy Williams Jr., Wendy's brother, says that, Wendy and him are the best of friends. The best of friends. He's excited to see her. So at this dinner, where it is Tommy Williams Jr., Tommy Williams Sr., and then Kevin Jr. and Travis, um, at this dinner, before that, it's Tommy Jr. and Tommy Sr. And so Tommy says, I want another Manhattan. Where's my Manhattan? Now, Tommy, I know that you can live your life, but if you know your sister's coming, you shouldn't ask for any alcohol if you're trying to keep her here. I know you wasn't trying to do that, and I can tell that's your typical drink. Not drink, but drank. But that wasn't the move to me. So Wendy wanted to sit next to her dad, and so because of lymphedema, you gotta get up and feel your feet because it was a booth. They were in a booth, and so as they were all speaking, Wendy, Tommy Jr., Tommy Sr., Kevin Jr., and Travis, Wendy called Tommy Kelvin or Kevin. I think it was Kevin, if I'm not mistaken. So I think she meant to say Kevin Jr. or son, but Kevin Jr. wasn't there yet. So Tommy did say at one point, Tommy Jr. said at one point that Wendy did have dementia, but then took it back. So then Kevin Jr. and Travis come to dinner. Kevin Jr. gets two shirts from Wendy. And so, wine is coming for Travis and Kevin Jr. And Wendy says she wants one. Travis immediately steps in into protective nephew mode and says, Coca-Cola. And so Tommy Jr. is trying to protect the family and tells Wendy, like, hey, listen, you've been doing really, really good. You could slip up and it could all be over. So let's not do that tonight. So, the production team, the staff and crew are leaving Wendy's family so Wendy can spend time with her family. I felt that was very sweet uh, because honestly, I can only imagine shooting your life as it is. It's being in this condition has to be overwhelming. So tomorrow, Wendy and her family are going to be on a boat talking about podcasts all the way. And so then we're at the boat with Wendy. Wendy is in a wheelchair, and her bodyguard Hank Awaska is there. And so, with a boat, you have to extend the deck for you to get on the boat. And so there was a little gap there, and so Wendy didn't want to fall in. So Wendy was like, "Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going." And so then finally, with the help of Hank, Wendy gets on the boat, the yacht. But I think it was basically a yacht, but it was like a mini yacht. But Tommy Senior asks, "What objectives do you have today, or objects?" And Wendy says, "None." And so Wendy says no to artwork and hobbies because Tommy Senior brings that up, and Kevin Jr. said that his mom should slow down, um, and Tommy Jr. wants good people around her. Kevin Jr. wants Wendy in Miami. Wendy wants to be in New York. And so I could tell that that was contentious because Kevin Jr. Is thinking about the soul of his mom, not the persona of what we know her to be. And I feel like Wendy wants to stay in New York because she is still tied into her dream. She doesn't want to give that up. So we're almost there, y'all, to the end. I will drop the link if you guys want to come up because I know you guys have a lot to say. Um, so then Wendy has been fine with the crew being in her place as she feels because she feels lonely. So we're in New York City, right? 5 days after Miami, um, there was a scheduled interview, right? And Wendy said that she was moving, not moving, and she was exciting. She was excited to see Kevin Jr. and she wants to have a healing the heart, right? And so Wendy has a huge mimosa, and so Wendy, is crying in the bed of she misses her family. It's a very, very deep cry of finally waking up of like, I really, oh my God, wait a minute, what am I doing in New York when when New York is hurting me and Miami's helping me? Like she finally got it clicked for her, and she asked for someone to stay with her. Will says that Wendy is drunk, and Will says that someone needs to be with her 24/7. So Will told Michael that we'll take a different approach. So the producer says that it seems like now, Will, you're finally seeing that it's real. And Will said it's not that I didn't think it was real, but you said that she, I don't see a problem with Wendy mentally. That's what you said. You did say that in this documentary, rather. Will, you did. And Will says never. It's been more consistent, and it wasn't that serious. Already went off on you, Will. So I have no more energy for you, bro. So Will says it's going to take him, the guardian, and the family have to pull together. So the documentary stopped filming in April 2023 over concerns of Wendy's well-being. So then Will went to the apartment around 6 a.m. Will pushed the door in and found a party bottle of alcohol in Wendy's bed. So Will had been coordinating with the guardianship, and Wendy was an inpatient at a medical facility. The family does not know Wendy's location. producers remained in contact with Wendy's family, Kevin Jr., and no one in the family has seen Wendy in the treatment center. Alex, the niece, says that at the treatment center they are handling the core of Wendy's problems, and the family has been blocked from speaking to Wendy. Whew. So now we are in October of 2023. Um, Wendy Wendy was undergoing a 6 month treatment, and producers did not have contact with her at this time. So Wanda, Wendy's sister, and Alex, the niece, go to visit Tommy Williams Sr. to switch up his meals. And Wanda says to Tommy Williams Sr. that I will bring over some lasagna. After a year of filming, Wanda, Wendy's sister, agreed to film a sit down interview. Wanda says it's been a long journey for Wendy and her family and wants Wendy to be healthy and happy. Around Wendy's birthday in July was the last time that Wanda spoke to Wendy, but before that, it was the week before last. And Wanda says that you, Wendy, as a person, in so many words, is amazing, but that resilience factor is in your son. And Wanda understands people out on the outside looking in of how can Wendy have all this money, this, that, and the third, and her family is there, but this is the state she's in. Wanda understands that. So when Wendy was in Miami, she was going to the doctor, she was eating vegan, and she was doing more good things for her. So in 2022, a New York City judge or New York judge stripped Kevin's right away to take care of her, Kevin Jr.'s right to take care of her. Kelvin Jr. said that he never stole any money from Wendy. Um, and Bernard Crooks, who is a lawyer, said that, you know, if you did not have the power to make that decision in your cognitive, right? It's so layered, Nikki News. It is so layered. Um, and that's why I said we have to be still with what we're thinking. We have to be still in how we move in this. Um, and so I'm being calm because this is part four. And this is the end. And this is the family finally speaking out. So it's no point in being upset with the family. It's important to meet the family where they are in terms of their energy. So that's why I am the way I am. Um, so Bernard Crooks said that if you didn't have the power to be in your right mind making that decision of a guardian, or if that person's not doing right, a judge or the courts can take away that guardianship or that person away from you from that, or can take that person away from being your guardian. So in spring of 2022, representatives of the court met with Wendy's family members in Miami. All family members were contacted, and Wanda also believes that somebody should be with Wendy 24/7. So Wanda was down to be Wendy's guardian, and then the wall came down for some odd reason. Wanda does not know. Although Wanda was willing to be Wendy's guardian, like I said, uh, the court went with an appointed professional guardian. So Wanda said back in New York, it took a turn for the worst. And so Travis, the nephew, said that basically vodka bottles were had by Wendy, and then Wanda, not Wanda, but Wendy was wearing roast beef sandwiches. Tommy Williams Jr., Wendy's brother, said everybody took turns on checking in on Wendy, flying up to New York and seeing how she's doing. Wanda communicated things that other people saw and memory issues. Health wise, everyone saw it, says Wanda. So there was a clip of Wendy going to get cat food because she has two wax figures at Mountain Tussauds, one in Paris, and one in New York. So or one in California rather. So Wendy said she's going to spend 1 week in Paris and then 3 weeks in California. Wanda was not okay with the interview on TMZ Live where Wendy put her foot up to show off with a demon. Wanda was not cool with that interview being aired. And so Wanda says the guardianship system is broken, and Wanda does not know where Wendy is and doesn't know where home is for Wendy right now. So Will Selby, the Wendy's manager, goes into an empty apartment and it is cleaned out and wants Wendy to be in a better space. And then the producer So Alex Finney, the niece of Wendy, producer asks, "Are you aware the apartment was cleaned out and out on the market while she was in a health facility?" Alex says no. Now, even though Wendy was moving to a one-story flat, apparently Wendy did not know that this place, her place was out on the market and was cleaned out while she was in a mental health facility. So Wanda, Wendy's sister, says she had not spoken to the guardian in a year, and Wendy would call Wanda, but then no communication. So Diane Diamond, Dimond, author of "We're Here to Help When Guardianship Goes Wrong," has written about this for 8 years, and that most judges are not appointing family members. And so Wanda said the family members were willing to take her on for her health, not money. You leave the money over there. Wanda is feeling overwhelmed every day because people are asking, "How's Wendy?" And you don't know what you can say and what you can't say, and you're doing this and that and the third, and trying to live your own life as well. So Alex and Wendy are talking on the phone as Wanda is in her taped interview, right? So Wanda and Wendy are talking, and Wanda says something about document, every time somebody's not responding to Wendy. And the producer asks, "Can I ask what that was?" And Wanda says no. And so Wanda says in a positive spirit that the Wendy that Wanda is talking to is almost like talking to the Wendy from the past. Wanda is proud of Wendy, and, and Wanda is proud of Wendy's resilience and calls Wendy her hero. So Wendy calls Will, right? Wendy calls Will to talk about Wanda coming on board for the documentary because that's the last time that Wendy and hello Cynthia Jacob, welcome and glad to have you here. So the last time that Wendy and Wanda spoke was for Wanda to come on the documentary. So Wendy called Will to tell Will that Wanda was coming on, and then Will said, "Okay, hang on, I'm about to film something," and hanged up the phone in Wendy's face. Now, Will, I don't know if you know how television works. Obviously, you don't because you are a jeweler, not a manager. If you knew anything about media, yes, there is a call sheet for when you're supposed to be on the set and when you're supposed to start and when it's supposed to end. But, bruh, it did not look like production was ready for you to film your interview. So, that, in the words of Cardi B, that's suspicious. That's weird that you would hang up the phone on Wendy after she is excited to tell you about her sister coming onto the documentary. That lets me know the family really don't know you that well. Because a manager would have took time out for like, "Guys, hang on 1 second. I know we're going to film, but just give me a couple minutes with Wendy." That's what a real manager would have done well. Ooh, we're almost there, y'all. So Will saw Wendy 10 days ago. Wendy is healthy, gaining weight, and she's thinking about her future and wants her son. And all Wendy is about right now is resting in her son. And she wants to move to Miami, and everything is decided on by the court. So then Alex, the niece, and Wanda, Wendy's sister, is in a sit down interview. And so Wanda says plan of action is happening in her next chapter. Um, well, I think that Alex says that. Then Wanda says that um, it's very methodical, Wendy's plan, and that Wendy told Wanda that she forgets things sometimes. Kevin Jr. says that he wants the family to be the guard that the family's ready. Kevin Jr. says we're in a different place as a family. Um, and also, too, Wanda and Alex also say that we are in a better place as a family. Wanda, Wendy's sister, says should not have taken 2 years or a year for this to be what it is. And Alex, the niece, wants the court system looked at. And so the guardianship is up for review in 2024. Producer said that Wanda wants the family in a bigger role and wants Wendy to take on and wants to stand up for herself and take on her life. And so, Wanda said, I hope that, when he goes in and says, thank you for all that you've done, I'm ready for my life back. And Alex said, it's now or never. And so, Kevin Jr. says that it's about Wendy, the soul, not about the media. And Wanda wants people to see that Wendy is human. BJ Booth said that she is the originator of a lot of things, and there's no one else like her. Um, at the time of this documentary was completed, Wendy's family was still not able to see her in person. I think now that I think about it, I think it was Wanda that said that there's nobody like her, that she's a one on one. And then, per New York State Mental Hygiene Law, Article 81.31, the court must conduct a review of Wendy's guardianship every year. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is part four of the four-part, two-parter documentary of Where's Wendy Williams that aired this past Saturday and this past Sunday, 8, 7 Central on Lifetime. Episode 4, we just reviewed I Am Gorgeous. So, I'm going to drop the link. If you guys want to come up, I know it was a lot. Listen. Lord, I sincerely hope that I did my job well with this review of part 1 and part 2 and part 3 and part 4. Because I did not know how I was going to approach this. I did not know how I was going to approach this review, because it's very heavy, it's very real, and the gravity of emotionality for this is not for the weak. Um, and I wanted to make sure that with both reviews, that you understood the gravity, the sincerity, and the humanity of what is in this documentary. That you're not going to get everything that you didn't get everything that you wanted. You certainly didn't get everything that you needed. But at some point in time, you have to take what you can take and move on. Thank you so much, Nikki News. I appreciate it, because I really was. It was Terry. It was Terry energy with this one. Um, you know what I mean? And like I said, y'all can let me know how y'all feel like I did. And listen, um, me and Nikki News are like this as family, as friends, and as people. And I remember when Nikki News said that like she said, I couldn't watch it, but I'm looking forward to your review. Um, like I said, I hope that this review gave diversity, variety, and also a emotionality that you may not see in other reviews. Now, I talked about this from a social context point of view. Um, I know there'll probably be other people to break it down from a medical point of view. I did see from MEMS, make it make sense that apparently it's a $30 million lawsuit that is to come against the Guardian. Um, but this topic is going to go on for some weeks, because it just came out. So this topic is going to be probably talked about this week, next week, and maybe the week after that, just being generous. But I hope that what I've done here with part 3 and part 4 and part 1 and part 2 is showcase that that we're not all a monolith, that we that our wherewithal is in the eye of the beholder, but most of all, that whether you sit high and you look low, or you sit low and you're looking high, we all are going through something. So with that being said, I'm gonna turn on my camera now, because I've done the whole show for an hour. Oh Lord. my Lord, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord. Hmm. Lord, this was a lot. This was quite a lot. It really was. And you know what? I am glad that we did it the way we did it. You know, and like I said, for those of you who may not have watched it, you know, I hope that this allows you to be able to watch it in your own time. Um, and I hope that for the people, and I say this with all love, I hope that for the people who cannot hear, but you'll be able to see it through closed captioning, that you are received. Um, you know what I mean? For people who can see but they can't hear, and for people who can't see but they can hear, I hope you hear the soul of my voice with this. And for everybody else who has the sight and hearing, and that you may not watch the visuals, I hope that this gave you a good overview of what was in the documentary. Now, of course, this is from my point of view. Um, and like I said, everything's in the eye of the beholder. But I hope that I hashtag did my job on this one. I stood on business and completed my assignment. So, oh Lord, a lot going on. Let me thank everybody for coming through. Nikki News, thank you. Love you as always. I'm Cynthia Jacob. Thank you, Lady B. Thank you, Colton James. Colton Hodge James, thank you. Hawana Karma, thank you. Diana, Lily, thank you. And Lynette Stilter, thank you as well. Oh Lord. You know, Nikki News, sometimes I really do wonder if I have too much of an old soul because I'm just like, how in the hell was I able to do part one and part two and part three and part four like I did? I mean, sincerely, like it took a elevation higher than I usually do anyway. You know what I mean? So it was just, yeah. So, so yeah. So do y'all think we should end the show? Because that was pretty much it. I mean, it was quite a it was quite a knees weak, arms heavy like spaghetti. Hashtag up there goes gravity type of live. Um, and listen, I think at the beginning, middle, end of the day, we all can be a problem, or we can all be a solution. But either way, we still have to be something in life. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah. Hmm. Yes, so Sharnita's World is a weekly show. It comes on Fridays at 9 p.m. So By the way, y'all, that Sharnita's World video, y'all, it's gotten 4,100 views. Like I'm not even lying to y'all. I'm not even lying to y'all. Let me get it up. Because I was just flabbergasted. Okay, not flabbergasted, but flabbergasted. Um, if that's even a word. I'm flabbergasted. All right, hang on here. Let's see. So let me do this here and show y'all this because I was just no, I'm not even joking with y'all. I'm not even joking with y'all. Like this was just season one, episode one. Now that is right there, 4,174 views on this video. Um, I mean, honestly, I listen. I truly feel that the reason why the video is the way it is because for one, you gotta recognize now we were staying up all night long to watch the show. Um, you know what I mean? And I think we were just all exhausted, and we just wanted to finally see it. So truly, at that point, I think because honestly, I don't even know how many people did a review that night. Honestly, I don't know if I was the only person to do it, but like I said before, when 17 people were still hanging with me, watching fireworks because my behind fell asleep. But I will say this, rightfully so, I fell asleep because like we were waiting for the show at 9 p.m. Um, I had my time for 10 p.m., right? Then I was on with that's what I'm saying, right? And then I was on with Chit Chat with QT, and that's where I got the notification from Chit Chat with QT that was at 10:30. Well, 9:30 rather. So then I switched it to 10:30, and then everybody was saying, "All right, it's on," but then it was just a preview, so I switched it back to 9. Um, yeah, I switched it back to 10 rather. And so then, I was updating, and for those of you who were there that night, you damn well remember. I was, I was, I was updating y'all on my community wall like I was a whole television network, my own network, okay? Um, Brainly Virtual Tour Television Network, okay? Um, but no, I was updating y'all on my community wall consistently, talking to some of you in the comment section of my community wall posts. And then I did that millimeter power outage. By the way, let me pull up something because I find it very interesting. You know what I mean? Of my greatness sometimes. I say that very humbly, okay? Say that very, very humbly. But when I go to millimeter power outage, right? Well, usually, but when I type that in, rather, it doesn't appear now. But when I type that in, I was the only person with the millimeter hashtag outage, right? So, and listen, I don't know if it was me just believing in myself to stay up, or y'all believed in me enough that you believed that I would stay up. But we helped each other that night, okay? And not to mention too, I was updating in the live because everybody was just wondering. And I have to tell y'all, for everything that I went through, for y'all to somehow, in your hearts, minds, and souls, to first of all even care about the community wall as you did that night, to comment in the community wall posts, and then to be in the live chat of a live that kept switching the time. and then for y'all to come on with the millimeter power outage live from my phone, an old school virtual tour live, and then for y'all to be up at 1 o'clock in the morning, not in the morning, but in the morning to support me, and then to have 17 people still roll with me with fireworks on. Basically, 17 people were on with this being on. You understand? 17 people are on with this still streaming. There is no words. There is no emotions. There is no perspective. I could say enough, whether to think it or to say it, of the different ways of thank you for believing in me to be a resource that night. And that's how I know this is bigger than YouTube, because if y'all really didn't care, y'all would not have invested in me as a resource that night to know what the hell was going on. So I really, truly mean this. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you once again. Y'all mean more to me than y'all will know. So yeah. Whew. Well, Nikki News, should we go ahead and end the show, beautiful? Because I think it's just us in here. It's you, me, and one other person. So should we go ahead and end the show? Because I think that was it, honestly. I mean, that was that was your review, y'all. I don't know what else to tell you. Now, of course, tomorrow morning I will have a show for you live at 11 a.m., of course. And then you guys know it will be 90 Day Fiance, the single life, because you know we've been covering that show over here on the regular deck of the Schmegula. And do not worry, I saw P. Diddy. We're going to have to do a whole separate live on that. Okay? So trust me, even though I may not get to it right away, don't mean I'm not paying attention. It don't mean I don't get to it. So yeah. Well, I'm going to take Nikki News not saying anything as the point of we should go ahead and end the show, because that really is the show, though. So let me get the daily motivator up for y'all. I think this stands for, ending the show. Most of the time I ask you guys if you guys want to end the show, because, this is y'all's channel too. And I want y'all to be able to have a good time with me as I have a good time with y'all. But this is, I think we just need to breathe. Thank you so much, Queen. Listen. No, all good, Lady B, all good. I'm about to end the show because at this point, with how it was in part 3 and part 4, I think we just all need to breathe with these 2 videos, these 2 reviews. By the way, there will be timestamps. I'm trying to timestamp every video. There's some that the transcript has not processed yet. So give it some time, okay? But there will be timestamps, especially in these 2, because honestly, I know people will listen to it because at this point, y'all know my voice. Y'all understand my soul, and y'all vibe with me. I vibe with y'all, but still, this needs some context. But yeah, I think this is the perfect time to end the show because we just need to breathe, honestly. Like I said, tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. will be a whole show by itself, and a whole show by itself. And then, like I said, 6 p.m. tomorrow, we will be covering 90 Day Fiance, the single life, because we usually cover that on Tuesday nights. So here is the sound for the Daily Motivator by our good friend Ralph Morrison. Self-trust is the first secret to success. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Powerful quote. It is time for the Daily Motivator for Tuesday, February 27th, 2024. Reasonable common sense metal. Let's get into it. When one perspective is opposed to another, that doesn't necessarily mean one is totally right and the other completely wrong. You're likely to find the truth, wisdom, and utility in each one. The same forces that are empowering and beneficial in some ways can also be oppressive and destructive in other ways. Life as we know it would be impossible without water. Yet certain contexts, water can be deadly. Just because a concept, person, organization, or process has certain negative aspects doesn't make it all bad. Just because something is useful and has positive qualities doesn't make it worthy of unquestioned worship. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. You have to be willing to accept the bad with the good. Otherwise, your choices narrow to almost no choice at all. In the world of computers and logic, binary choices can be configured to be highly useful. Yet, to successfully navigate the messy, imperfect world at large, you have to be more nuanced. Be careful of accepting or rejecting anything based on just one or two factors. Give yourself access to all the value that is found in the reasonable, common sense middle. Ralph Waldo. Woo! Woo! Let the church say amen. Let the church, everybody say amen. God has spoken. So let the church say amen. Woo! All right, let's get into it. So y'all know I always give y'all three things. So the first thing I recognize is you have to be willing to accept the bad with the good. Otherwise, your choices narrow to almost no choice at all. I understand this quote because at the beginning, middle, and end of the day, we want so much of life to be good that we don't want to deal with the bad. But without you dealing with your history, it can determine your destiny. I'm going to say that again. Without you dealing with your history, it can determine your destiny. And so what I've come to realize is for everything that I have went through, and Steve Harvey said this, I'll never forget it. He said, if you look at your life, you made it through 100% of your bad days. Now that don't mean your bad day wasn't bad, but you still above ground. Braylon, I know you're closing out, but is Melody releasing any more pieces with Jay Boland this week? Let me see. I will, of course, see what that update is about. Beautiful. Let me see. So I'm looking here. Her last post was 4 days ago. It's pinned. So it looks like she doesn't have any more. Looks like she doesn't have any more of her collection. It looks like all the collection is out. It looks like it to me because I see February 20th, 7 days ago, 7 days ago, 6 days ago, 6 days ago, 6 days ago, 5 days ago, 4 days ago, 5 days ago, 5 days ago, 4 days ago. So it looks like she is done. But yeah, hopefully that answered your question. And thank you very much, Nikki News. I always love you for sure. So that's the first thing I recognize is that we deal with so much. We want so much good that we don't know how to deal with the bad. And when we don't deal with the bad, we wonder where we are. And we wonder why we are where we are. But we don't necessarily want to know the how of why we are where we are. That's the first thing I recognize with this daily motivator. Life as we know it will be impossible without water. Yet, in certain contexts, water can be deadly. The same thing that can help you can also hurt you. Water helps you quench your thirst, and it helps give you life. But too much water, being drenched in it, drowning in it, choking on it, can kill you. So, what that statement says to me is that we need to recognize what resources are, but we need to be responsible on how we use those resources. I'll say that again. We need to recognize what resources are, but we also need to recognize the power of what that resource is. And finally, be careful of accepting or rejecting anything based on just one or two factors. Give yourself access to all the value that's found in the reasonable common sense middle. Don't let the noise determine your sound. Don't let the noise determine your sound. Don't let the noise determine your sound. A sound is clear. A sound is strong. With a sound, you hear everything. But a noise is broken. It's in disarray. And you know what happens with noise? You have to put many things together in an audio format, or you have to audio mix and fix in order to create a sound. But you know what the problem is with noise? Even when you try to mix and fix to create that sound, that noise is still noise because that is the foundation of how you found that energy. Bonus tip. Bonus tip. Bonus tip. Give yourself access to all the value that's found in the reasonable common sense middle. Give yourself access to all the value that's found in the reasonable common sense middle. Give yourself access to all the value that's found in the reasonable common sense middle. It did not say the beginning. It did not say give yourself access to all the value that's found in the beginning. It did not say give yourself access to all the value that's found in the end, but it said give yourself access to all the value that's found in the reasonable common sense middle. Some of you are so worried about how you're beginning, and some of you are so worried about how you're ending that you're not concerned about your creation or creating your middle. Oh! You know what? I gotta come on camera and say that one. I'm sorry. I know I usually close it out with my face not on, but I gotta say that on camera. It did not say access the value in your beginning. It did not say access the value in your ending. It says give yourself access to all the value that's found in the reasonable common sense middle. You're so concerned about your beginning, you're so concerned about your ending, but you're not concerned about your creating in the middle. With that being said, it is time for the best outro on YouTube. Know what you do and do what you know. Never say you weren't born special, because you were always born a blessing. Trust you may not be where you want to be, but by the end of it, you'll be where you need to be. Do what you've been chosen to do. Why is one thing to call yourself? It's another thing to be chosen. One love, much love, all love. I have spent time with you. You have spent time with me. And hopefully by spending time together, we'll rise up to be great together. And always remember where you're doing radio, television, YouTube, living your best life. Or just recognizing that your creation or what you're creating in the middle determines your ending and is connected to your beginning. But you are always in control of your beginning, middle, and ending. Make sure the replay is not just ready for you to watch it, not just ready for you to listen to it, but if you want to experience it again. I love you. I value you. I embrace you all. Always remember, when receive love, you got to give it. When receive love, you got to give it. And when receive love, you got to give it. whatever obstacles you've overcome, whatever successes you have achieved on this particular day. I'm extremely proud of you, but if no one else is proud of you. You're proud of your damn self. And finally, y'all, please quit giving attention to people who are destroying the culture, but not building it up. Please and thank you. And you wonder why we don't have many blueprints, because the people that can't create a blueprint are taking resources away because they don't want resources for the rest of us. They rather us suffer and they rise. But the problem is, though, when they take away those blueprints from us, they're also taking away those blueprints of success for them. Because you know what happens when you go off your own blueprint? Your dimensions are fucked up. Because those blueprints have the dimensions you needed to get to your success. One love, much love, all love. I feel the love and I send it right back to you. Enjoy the fireworks for the day that was, for the day that's to come, and for the blessings that are on the way for you, me, and all of us as a people, as a society, and as a culture. One love, much love, all love. Bye, everybody. Good night. Bye.